So now we got something similar, except there's a notch on it. So let's just do the same thing. I am going to, this time just to kind of have a different approach, I'll start with the circles first this time. So we know they're two concentric circles. When I say concentric, what do I mean? Does anybody know the term concentric? You've heard that before? New one? Yeah, so the term concentric means they share the same center point. A donut is concentric. Maybe not a real donut because they're kind of not symmetrical, but so let's just draw the two circles. So I'm just going to start with a circle, and I'm going to use the diameter option and make it 28. And I'm going to draw another one. So I'm just going to right click. I'm going to make sure, it uses the center object snap. This time I'll use the diameter of 12. Now this one's different. Why is it different? Because it has a notch. So I've got to kind of figure out what am I going to do for that notch. In a case like this, what I like to do would be to just draw a line from the center straight up. Doesn't really matter how long it is, just going out past the circle. And how's a really easy way to draw parallel lines? Offset. So I'm going to offset that center line 2 millimeters to the left, 2 millimeters to the right. So I'm going to pick my offset tool. Offset in my mind is an everyday AutoCAD tool. I'm going to type in 2 and press enter. And I'm going to bump it to the right, and I'm going to be sure to pick the center one again and bump it to the left. So you should have 3 lines that look about like that. So this next, I got to draw that horizontal line that's the bottom of that notch in there, and it comes down from the direct quadrant to 2 millimeters and then over. So a couple of different ways I can do that, but I'm gonna zoom in here kind of close, and I'd encourage you to do the same thing. And I've still got my center line in there. I see somebody's maybe erased theirs, but I left mine in there because I'm about to use it again here. So if you erased it, you might want to hit the undo, or another command in AutoCAD is oops. So if you erase something a few commands ago and you don't want to undo all those commands that you've done since then, if you type in oops, the last thing that you erased will come back, even if it was several clicks earlier. Whatever the last thing you erased will come back. Oops. Pretty neat AutoCAD command. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the line, and I'm going to hover where my center line crosses that. I'm just going to hover there for a second, and I'm just going to move down, kind of like we were tracking before. I see the little tracking line, and I didn't click there. I didn't start my line there, but I'm tracking from that quadrant point, and I see there's a quadrant there, so I really didn't have to have the center line. I apologize for making you bring that back. But I'm going to go, I've got my cursor going down, and I'm going to type in 2 and press enter. And what that does is it starts the line straight down from that point 2. And then I'm going to go over and just connect it with the little X symbol on to this line. I got the tracking green line. I get the little X, and I'm going to left click right there. And you might be tempted to go all the way back over here, and you could do that and erase it. But again, I'll use the grip editing just like we've been doing. And I'll take this left end grip straight across till it touches on over there. And now I can erase that. And I could have erased that center line. We didn't really actually need it. There was a quadrant there. So now I'm going to trim, and you can do it by just clicking what you want to go away and just making a few extra clicks if you want to, but you could have picked the cutting edge and saved a little time, but not too bad. So I just kind of trim up to what I see. So you know, in this case, we'll call this our front view this time, right? And we have the power to make those declarations. We'll call this the front view, and this time we'll do a right side view.
Reason whenever I try to do the font, when I click to, it doesn't put it down far enough on top.
All right, let's take that one out and just try one more time. I'll watch this time. So just pick on that one and delete it. And so pick on your line. And it goes straight down there. Okay, there's an endpoint there, which is really odd. So there's something there that shouldn't be there. So there's a piece of line there, a little devil line. Press escape there. There's some lines there. So there shouldn't be any endpoint there. There may be a handful of them. So I'd put a crossing, you know, I'd put a window around that and just delete them all. Let me help you. So we just want to make sure there's nothing there. Yeah, it looks like you got them all now. All right, so go back to your line. And you should see a quadrant, is what you should see. And so track straight down. And when you type 2 and press enter, now you went down to, that is really weird. Is that 2?
I entered 2.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Let's go straight across. It just looks a little. I'm going to, let's just see how big this circle is. Make sure it's right. So your circle's got a radius of 28 of a diameter. So it's your circle's twice as big, and that's what's making it look a little different.
Yeah.
So I think it was going down to yeah, those radiuses versus diameters will get you for sure. And you really, you know, what we're doing now without putting the dimensions on it, you'd really get away with it and not ever know it.
Huh.
Until something looks a little different, you know, I could just tell it just looked a little different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell too.
Yeah. So, you know, and it doesn't matter if you want to do the left side or the right side. In this case, let's just do I'm going to do the right side just because I've got more room over there. I'm going to track off those quadrants just like we did before. So I'm going to track off that quadrant. Just give myself some room. Go up to the little quadrant. So I've got that little line. Yeah, we'll go over 20. Track off this one. And, you know, the height of this circle won't be 28 because it's actually lopped off a little bit, right? So you track off that edge. And I just tracked off for that bottom edge for that 2. And I know I did that fast, so I'm happy to erase it and do it again, or just give you a few minutes to work through it. I think you guys all understand what's going on, I think. But once you get that little line in there, it's not visible from this side, so it's actually going to be an HID line. It should be a yellow hidden line. So just use that layer control to change it. And I'll pause right there for just a minute. That tracking off those edges is just mission critical. If you can master that right now, you'll be bored next week or the next couple of weeks doing all this. But I'm just going to draw a little center line out here, and this time I'm just going to take it out there. I'm going to change it to a center mark or center line. Go to my annotate ribbon, drop myself a center mark on this one. And I'm also going to make it a center. So we could create a top view and it would look a little different, but it doesn't add any new information. We can see the width and depth of this notch in this view. We get all we need right there.